Good afternoon. This is Chris Brecher with Brecher Trading. Night of the Tariff. I'm a real big fan of Wild Wild West. My best friend from Dothan, Alabama, and I used to watch it forever when we were kids. I still like it. So I've been doing these night ofs every Friday night video. This is the Brecher Trading March 2nd free nightly video. And I got to tell you, I'm really fired up at so many trades really worked today. And we're going to go into that. So just to let you know, obviously, if you're getting a free video, there's one catch, and that is you have to endure me talking about Brecher Trading. Now, the one thing about here is we now have a premium try for 5 days, $5 for 10 days. Now, just to let you know, that includes this. The premium, which includes the chat. You get the nightly videos, which are a lot more in-depth than what you're hearing now, a lot more forecast of what's going on. A weekend swing trade video for people that can't be here all the time. More longer term ideas, which is a little rough right now, and I'll get into that of why it's rough right now. I post morning ideas and charts every morning. We have an active forum, and I have a lot of learning center videos. But the biggest thing to me in here is one is the special events. Every other Wednesday, I get on for a half hour to 45 minutes. And let me just show you what I'm talking about. I get on for an Ask Me Anything Wednesday night, 7 to at least 7:30 p.m. Eastern. For people that are working all day, you can get on and just ask me anything you want. And then, of course, I do the replay. Morning Ideas looks like this. I post all kinds of shapes and sizes charts. Most of them have been working great. Videos. This is pretty cool, and I just have to show you. Learning videos. I do all kinds of learning videos. My favorite candlesticks, how to set up TweetDeck, ATR trailing stop, and so on. Nightly videos. I try to have interesting little fonts, like templates in here. Yesterday it was down the tubes, as you see there. We've had some weird ones with the Joker and the Riddler. Groundhog Day, because the market acted exactly like it did the week before. Very interesting in here. So that's, you get all that with your trial. But it's $97 normally, but right now we're having a $5 10-day trial, so you could try it out in there. And let me just tell you, the biggest thing in here, the biggest is the chat. The chat has been a huge hit, and let me explain. And already what I do is that day I do the morning chat replay and then the afternoon chat replay, which is buffering right now. I'm on every day from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern, and then I'm on from 3 to 4 p.m. But if it's busy, I'm here all day. That's one thing I want you to realize. It's not like I leave at 10 o'clock and I go play golf. I'm trading all day. I'm usually sharing my screens all day. I'm monitoring the chat all day. And one thing I want you to realize, when it's busy like today, I got on before 9 o'clock. People needed me on before 9. I got on today at 2:30 instead of 3. So I try very much to jump on. I jumped on the chat at noon today. In fact, one of the trades we did yesterday, I had to jump on. Look at Amazon yesterday. This is one of my favorite. I jumped on because I'm like, look at this bear flag. You hardly ever see a bear flag at Amazon. That was good for 35 points. In about an hour. So that was pretty exciting in there. And when I said to people that subscribers on the chat, you know, that worked out okay. I got all these responses. That was amazing. It wasn't okay. So I'm very, very excited about that. So just to let you know, I'm on the chat a lot. And one of the reasons that I got on today early was because of this. Today, like I said, night of the tariff. You have all the threats of the tariff on steel and aluminum, and you would think the market get destroyed. The problem is, luckily, I got on early for us to decide to go over what could go up. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So I sat here and I made a tariff watch list. But it started to dawn on me, see, Boeing, Caterpillar, and so on. But it started to dawn on me that everybody on CNN, CNBC, and so on was talking about the same stocks. So then I came up with, how about the anti-tariff stocks? And that's what we were discussing before the opening. So let me give you one step after another of how we did this. What do you think has nothing to do with tariffs? Biotech stocks? Netflix? Amazon? And maybe Amazon a little if you have retaliation, but the Netflix of the world, the stocks that aren't affected by it. So this is how I looked at the market. And I want you to realize we're very much into correlations. That's one thing I teach is to watch, let's say, the Russell versus the NASDAQ. So let me give you, I'm going to make this big, and I want you to see what we were doing earlier in the week. Earlier in the week, I was saying that the NASDAQ needed to follow the Russell. Because if I was right, that we're sitting here saying that we have a stronger economy and that's why the bond market is sold off, then the NASDAQ's near a new high because everybody's like, well, they're growth stocks. Nobody cares about the bond market. Well, then the Russell should do the same thing. Instead, the Russell went down to where it was. And let me zoom out. I'm going to put it on a 4-hour chart and make it easy for you. You have a 4-hour chart. And you'll see the Russell went to where it was on Valentine's Day. Right there. Where would that put the NASDAQ? In this zone. Well, it almost got there. But I was pointing it out when it was here. That was 250 points a lot of people made in the NASDAQ. But the point was, I've been saying either the Russell has to rally or the NASDAQ has to sell off. Well, so what was the next thing that happened? The Russell went nuts today. In fact, when the market overall was going down earlier in the day, the Russell was already going up. Now, this goes to when I talked about the anti-tariff stocks. The idea in here is what is in the Russell? Growth stocks. What else is in the Russell? Stocks that aren't affected by tariffs. Biotech stocks. Keep that in mind. And all you have to do is go into Thinkorswim or whatever platform you use and go to the Russell 2000. Look what was up today. The most percentage up. ICU Med, Nexstar Therapeutics, Puma Biotechnology, Stamps.com. I mean, that's what I mean, is those stocks went up that have nothing to do with tariffs. So that was one thing is we were like, you got to buy the biotech stocks. That worked. And all of a sudden you're like, well, if the biotechs can go up, then the Russell is going to go up. And if the Russell goes up, it's going to pull up the NASDAQ, and that's exactly what happened. Now, let me just tell you, this was my favorite trade of the day. Before the opening, we talked about buying Netflix. Netflix opened down $5. There on Fridays, Netflix has a habit of rallying. Why? Because 90% of takeovers happen over the weekend. Nobody in their right mind wants to be short Netflix over the weekend. So let me give you the reasons. I like to have 3 reasons to do a trade. Number 1, NASDAQ got down to support. Number 2, Netflix got down to support. See that? Right there. That's where people were buying it. Number 3, you have the thing about the takeovers. And number 4, this is an anti-tariff stock. So people would maybe reposition their portfolios. Well, I just talked to somebody that went in, and this is pretty impressive. I'm very excited about it. They bought the 290 calls today for $1.06. They sold them, I'm looking, a 4 lot. They sold them at $8. $8. They made $2,800 on a $420 investment because of our ideas of having 3 reasons, and this stock just exploded. In fact, if you look at it on a 5-minute chart, once it got over this here, it just kept going. That was it. Just kept going the whole day. Unbelievable in there. Very excited. I care more about my subscribers making money. I was on the floor of the CBOE for 8 years, worked for a day trading firm for 9 years, and I did fine. Right now, I care a lot about my subscribers making money, and that's what we're doing. It's not about them living vicariously through my wins or losses. It's making the subscribers, teaching them how to make a living. And that's what we've been doing. Or at the minimum, giving them higher probability trades than they're used to seeing and being more creative. And as you see, Netflix worked great. What were some of the other ones that worked well in here? Any of the biotechs. What else were we buying earlier in the week? Pot stock, CRON. This stock was mentioned, believe it or not, was the first U.S. listed pot stock. Most of them have an F on them because they're foreign like ADRs. This was also in the front page of USA Today about, pot stock. And you might say, well, it's too late to buy it. This is where we were buying it. We didn't buy the exact bottom. I'm not that good. This is where USA mentioned it, USA Today. I recommended buying it above there, right here, and then stopping yourself if it got under the ATR trailing stop. So in a bad market, it went from 8 to 10. There were a lot of clients that made a lot of money doing that. I love doing creative trades. What else was the trade of the day in here? I'm telling you, they're talking about it right now on CNBC, but we already made money on it. Bonds. Think of this. If China retaliates, who's one of the largest holder of our bonds other than the Fed? China. So what happens? We shorted bonds on the opening. Bonds were unchanged on the opening. Some people made 20 ticks in it. Very exciting in here when that happens. So, bonds were up. They closed down a point. A lot of people were buying the TLT today and just cleaned up in there. It was down a point. Very exciting. So the theory is in there that why would you think China would dump our bonds? One is because they're annoyed at the threat of protectionism. Number two in here, you got the tip-off because the dollar was down. If China sells our bonds, they sell our bonds, they have to sell our dollar to convert it to yuan. And it worked absolutely perfect. That's why we were shorting bonds. Was there another reason? I like to have 3 reasons. Well, one of them was a bear flag. Now, this is where a lot of people were shorting them. And you know what? That was a quick 60 cents. I love bear flags. They work great, and we had a lot of them this week. So I hope you have enjoyed this video. Like I said, we have the $5 trial now and for 10 days. And I think you'll see almost every day since I started January 4th, I've had everybody on the correct side of the market. Even this afternoon, I saw the bull flag of the NASDAQ. You know what? Maybe you didn't make money, but you didn't get yourself caught short right here. I was telling everybody that if you don't want to play the end of the day, don't play, but don't short the NASDAQ into that. So, and that worked really well. So thank you for listening to me. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you take us up on the trial. Take care.